When a woman loves you, her silence doesn't always come from disinterest. Sometimes it comes from emotion, so strong she doesn't know how to handle it. A lot of men completely misunderstand this moment. They see a pause, a gap, a shift in her energy, and immediately assume she's losing interest. But in reality, many times she pulls back because she cares so much that she needs to test the stability of the connection. She's watching how you handle her distance. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because she wants to understand what type of man you really are when things aren't perfect. And this is where most men fail. They panic. They react. They chase. They try to fix something that isn't even broken. What she's looking for in that quiet moment isn't your desperation, it's your emotional maturity. When she ignores you slightly, she's not expecting you to run after her. She's expecting you to stay grounded. She wants to see if you can operate from logic instead of fear, confidence instead of insecurity, presence instead of panic. Because deep down, a woman needs to know if the man she gives her heart to can stay stable when uncertainty shows up. Anyone can act confident when everything is going smoothly, but what happens when the energy shifts? What happens when she needs space? What happens when she stops being as available as before? That is when your real character shows. Women pull back because they want to observe your reaction without telling you that they're observing your reaction. She's silently asking, can he stay calm? Can he trust the connection without needing constant reassurance? Can he respect my emotional process? Will he maintain himself, or will he lose himself? And the moment you start begging for attention, over texting, demanding answers, or getting emotional, she sees you as unstable, not because you are a bad person, but because you don't yet understand feminine psychology. She needs the man who can handle her silence without falling apart. This is why staying composed is so important. When she pulls back, your best move is to breathe, relax, and remain steady. Continue your routine. Continue your purpose. Continue your life. Show her, without words, that you are not a man who relies on constant connection to feel secure. Show her that space doesn't scare you. Silence doesn't intimidate you, and emotional distance doesn't overpower you. Show her that you can lead with certainty even when things are not predictable. Because the truth is, women don't test your ego, they test your emotional strength. They test whether your calm is real or just a performance. They test whether your confidence is rooted in yourself or entirely dependent on them. And when you remain unshaken, something powerful happens inside her. She realizes you're different. She realizes you're not driven by fear. She realizes she can trust you more deeply because you don't crumble when her energy shifts. A man who stays steady becomes the man she feels safe loving. And here's the thing, the moment you stop chasing her silence and start respecting it, she feels more connected to you. When she sees that you understand her emotional rhythm, she becomes even more drawn to you. Your calm gives her permission to soften. Your stability gives her permission to open up again. Your strength reminds her why she was drawn to you in the first place. So when she ignores you, don't rush to fill the space. Don't try to decode every little detail. Don't create stories in your head. Stay centered. Stay patient. Stay grounded. If she loves you, her silence is not the end. It's the moment she's watching to see if you're the man who can handle her heart without losing himself. And if you stay calm, she eventually returns with even more love than before. When a woman truly cares about you, she often needs distance. Not because she's losing interest, but because her emotions have reached a level that feels overwhelming. People assume love always looks warm, open, and expressive, but they forget that real feelings also come with fear, vulnerability, and uncertainty. When she starts ignoring you, pulling back, or going quiet, it's not always rejection. Many times she's protecting her heart before she gives you all of it. She needs space to understand how deeply she feels, and she needs time to decide whether it's safe to trust you with that emotion. Her silence is her shield, not her exit. You have to understand something. A woman doesn't distance herself from a man she doesn't care about. She distances herself from the man she could genuinely fall for. That's where the risk is. Her mind starts racing with questions. What if I'm too open too soon? What if I get hurt again? What if he turns out like the last person? What if I love him more than he loves me? She's not ignoring you because you're unimportant. She's ignoring you because you're starting to matter too much. And that intensity scares her more than you realize. This is where the masculine response becomes so important. Most men take her distance personally. They panic, overthink, and assume the worst. But her distance is rarely about what you did. It's about what she feels. She's calibrating her emotions. She's trying to slow down what's moving too fast inside her. She's checking the foundation before she steps fully into the relationship. And the way you respond to her temporary withdrawal determines everything about what she decides next. A man who understands this doesn't chase. He doesn't interrogate her. He doesn't pressure her for reassurance. He doesn't crumble because she stopped replying for a while. Instead, he gives her the space she needs because he knows her distance is not the enemy. It's part of the process. He doesn't assume he's losing her. He understands she's protecting herself. And by staying calm, patient, and grounded, he becomes the man she feels safe returning to. Think of it like this: a woman gives her heart slowly, carefully, and intentionally. She has to feel safe first. She has to know she can trust you not only with her love but with her fears and insecurities. When she pulls back, she's watching one thing: your emotional response. If you become needy, clingy, or desperate, she feels pressure instead of comfort. If you get angry or cold, she feels unsafe instead of understood. If you start questioning your worth, she questions whether you can lead the relationship. But when you remain steady during her silence, you communicate something powerful. You're a man who doesn't need constant validation. You're a man who doesn't crumble when energy shifts. You're a man who can hold the emotional space for both of you. And that makes her feel more secure than any sweet words you could ever tell her. Women don't fall deeper because a man chases harder. They fall deeper because he remains grounded while she sorts through her emotions. She wants to know she can retreat without losing him. She wants to feel that her temporary distance won't push him into panic. Your calmness becomes her reassurance. Your stability becomes her safety. Your patience becomes the bridge that brings her back. So when she ignores you, don't treat it like abandonment. Treat it like a natural part of her emotional rhythm. Let her breathe. Let her process. Let her come back on her own terms. If she loves you, her silence is not a goodbye. It's her way of making sure the connection is strong enough to trust. And when she feels safe again, she returns with more love, more clarity, and more emotional certainty than before. One of the biggest reasons men fail during a woman's silent phase is simple. They start over pursuing. They feel the shift in her energy, they sense the distance, and immediately their instincts push them to fix it. They start texting more, calling more, asking questions, checking in repeatedly, trying to clear the air, when nothing is actually wrong. But what they don't realize is that this instinct, this urge to chase, is the very thing that destroys the attraction she was still holding onto. When she goes quiet, her emotions are already stirred. She's already thinking about you, feeling something for you, trying to sort through her own heart. But the moment you flood her with attention, pressure, and attempts to pull her back, you interrupt her entire emotional process. What she needed was space. What you gave her was suffocation. Overt pursuing doesn't just look desperate. It feels desperate. It tells her that your sense of worth depends on her immediate responses. It shows her that you can't stay grounded unless she is constantly validating you. And no woman feels safe with a man who needs her reassurance to stay calm. The moment you start chasing, she sees something you don't realize you're showing: insecurity. Not because you're broken, because you're afraid of losing her. But ironically, that fear is what pushes her further away. When a woman takes a step back, she is observing something very specific: your emotional independence. She wants to see if you can hold your own frame or if you crumble the second she pulls away. Every message you send trying to get her attention, every call you make trying to check the temperature, every attempt to win back her focus tells her that you're not operating with confidence. You're reacting from fear. And fear is the fastest way to break attraction. Instead of over-pursuing, the strongest thing a man can do is simply match her pace. If she slows down, you slow down. If she needs space, you respect it. If she goes quiet, you don't fill the silence. You let it breathe. You don't jump in to rescue her from her emotions. You let her go through what she needs to go through without trying to control the process. This doesn't mean ignoring her. It doesn't mean playing games. It means staying balanced, calm, and emotionally steady. It means trusting the connection enough not to chase after reassurance. And the moment she realizes you're not overreacting to her withdrawal, something shifts inside her. She starts to feel safe again. Safe to feel what she feels. Safe to come back without judgment. Safe to trust that you're not relying on her to stabilize your emotions. A man who responds with patience instead of pressure becomes a man she respects. A man she can open up to. A man she doesn't fear disappointing. Instead of running from you, she finds herself drawn back to your calmness, your self-control, your grounded presence. Women don't want men who chase harder the moment they pull away. They want men who stay centered. They want to feel like you have a life beyond them, like your emotional world is bigger than a single moment of silence. And when she sees that her distance doesn't cause you to break your routine, abandon your purpose, or spiral into insecurity, she begins to trust you on a deeper level. Because now she sees that your interest isn't unstable, emotional, or desperate. It's strong, mature, and rooted. So the next time she pulls away, resist the urge to chase. Don't flood her phone. Don't demand explanation. Don't overcompensate. Step back with confidence. Let her see that your attraction doesn't depend on pressure. Let her come back at her own speed. If she truly loves you, she will return, and she will return with a stronger appreciation for the man who didn't break the moment she created distance. When a woman pulls back, one of the worst things a man can do is chase her into closeness. Attraction doesn't grow under pressure. It grows in space. Most men don't understand this. They think closeness comes from constant communication, constant reassurance, and constant presence. But the truth is, emotional attraction functions in waves. It expands and it retracts. It pulls in and it pulls back. When she creates distance, it's because she needs clarity. Not because she wants you to force your way closer. If you respect the space she's asking for, even if she doesn't verbally say it, you create a quiet environment where her emotions can settle. And that silence is what allows her feelings for you to deepen. Women reflect more than they react. When she steps back, she's trying to feel the relationship without interference. She's trying to understand whether the connection is real, whether the direction is right, and whether her heart is safe with you. If you try to close the gap too quickly, you interrupt that process. You don't give her the emotional breathing room she needs to miss you, to think about you, or to reconsider the connection on her own terms. Space isn't the enemy. It's the container where attraction grows. A man who understands this doesn't panic when she becomes distant. He doesn't assume she's leaving. He doesn't view her silence as disrespect. He sees it for what it really is, to her attempt to understand her own emotions. And the strongest thing he can do in that moment is give her what she needs. Not because he's playing a game, but because he respects her emotional rhythm. Women fall deeper for men who don't crowd them, who don't smother them, who don't ask them to rush their feelings. They fall deeper for the man who stands firm while giving them room to breathe. Think about it from her perspective. When a man gives her space without guilt, pressure, or insecurity, she feels something powerful: relief. She feels safe to feel what she feels. She feels free to process without worrying that he'll react emotionally. She feels respected because he's not trying to force the connection. And in that freedom, she begins to appreciate him more. The distance she created to protect herself becomes the very thing that pulls her back toward him, because he didn't use it against her. He didn't punish her for needing it. He didn't make her feel wrong for wanting clarity. Space also gives her contrast. When you're always available, always texting, always reaching out, she never gets the opportunity to feel the value of your presence. Constant closeness becomes normal, expected, even taken for granted. But when you allow space, she starts to feel the difference. She notices your absence. She remembers the energy you bring. She reflects on the way you make her feel. And that reflection is what makes her want to reconnect. Not because you pushed her, but because she felt the desire naturally. A man grounded in his purpose understands this naturally. While she reflects, he continues improving. While she takes space, he continues working on himself. While she pulls back, he moves forward in his routine. This contrast is what makes you attractive. It shows her you have a life, a mission, and a sense of identity beyond her attention. She doesn't want to be your world. She wants to join you in a world you're already building. So when she distances herself, don't try to close the gap. Don't chase her into emotional closeness she's not ready for. Let her breathe. Let her think. Let her feel the pull of curiosity and longing return naturally. If she loves you, space won't break the connection. It will strengthen it. When a woman pulls back, the worst thing you can do is sit around waiting for her to return. The moment you pause your life for her attention, you communicate something you don't even realize. You're making her the center of your world. And a woman never feels secure loving a man who has no mission beyond her. What she wants, even if she never says it out loud, is a man who moves forward with or without her. A man whose life doesn't collapse because she took a step back. A man who stays disciplined, focused, and committed to his goals no matter what emotional turbulence is happening between the two of you. Because when you keep your mission at the center of your life, she feels something powerful. She feels that being with you means joining a life that already has purpose. When she goes quiet, she's watching what you do with that silence. Do you crumble? Do you start obsessing? Do you allow anxiety to control your actions? Or do you stay steady, focused, and grounded in your direction? Your reaction in this moment reveals your strength more clearly than anything you could ever tell her with words. If she sees that the moment she withdraws, your entire mood drops, your routine disappears, and your discipline collapses, she develops a fear. Because now she knows you rely on her too much. No woman wants to feel like the emotional life support of a man. She wants to respect you, admire you, and feel inspired by you, and that only happens when she sees you centered in your purpose. Your mission is what keeps your frame strong. Your goals are what give your life structure. Your discipline is what makes you attractive far beyond the surface level. When she sees you focused on becoming the best version of yourself, she realizes your attention isn't desperate. It's valuable. It's earned, not given away freely. And the moment you stop chasing her and start chasing your purpose instead, she begins to see your worth differently. She sees that your time means something. She sees that your presence has weight. She sees that losing you would mean losing a man with vision, stability, and direction. Women don't fall for men who orbit around them. They fall for men who build something bigger than the relationship. Men who have passions, ambitions, and dreams. Men who wake up with a mission. Men who pursue progress even when their emotions are unsettled. And the beauty of this is simple. You're not doing any of it for her. You're doing it because it's who you are. She's not the reason you're disciplined. She's just the one who notices it. She's not the reason you're improving. She just becomes more drawn to you because of it. When you focus on your mission, you also give her something she needs: time to reflect, time to miss you, time to feel your absence and think about what you bring into her life. And during that space, something powerful happens. She sees that you're not waiting on her. She sees that you're moving forward. She sees that your emotional world isn't dependent on her response or attention. And this makes her feel safe, not because she wants you to ignore her, but because she wants to know you can stand on your own 2 feet. The more you elevate yourself, the more she reevaluates you. When she sees progress, physical, mental, financial, emotional, she feels the weight of what you bring. She recognizes the value. She realizes that your presence isn't something she can replace easily, and that realization creates something stronger than attraction. It creates respect. Respect is what makes her return with more intention, more softness, and more willingness to invest. So when she pulls back, don't chase the silence. Fill it with growth. Fill it with purpose. Let your mission speak louder than your emotions. If she loves you, your strength during her distance will make her come back with even more appreciation for the man who never lost himself. When a woman truly loves you, her silence is never the end of the story. She may pull away, she may go quiet, she may create distance. But that distance isn't a doorway closing. It's her heart trying to protect itself before it opens even deeper. And the beautiful thing about a woman who genuinely cares is that when she finally returns, she doesn't come back halfway. She comes back with more clarity, more intention, and more emotional honesty than before. But that return only happens when you've handled her silence with strength instead of panic. If you stayed grounded, if you stayed focused, if you respected her space without trying to force anything, she feels safe coming back. Her pullback was never about pushing you out. It was about making sure you were the kind of man she could walk back toward. When she withdraws because she loves you, she's fighting 2 internal battles at the same time. On one side, she feels the connection, the attraction, the softness growing inside her. On the other side, she feels fear, uncertainty, and memories of getting hurt in the past. She takes distance not to punish you, but to stabilize herself. She needs to make sure she isn't moving too fast, giving too much, or trusting too deeply before she's ready. This is part of how feminine energy works. It expands and contracts, it warms up, then cools down to gather clarity. If you misread this as rejection, you fail the moment. But if you understand that this rhythm is normal, you become the man she can open up to without hesitation. A woman who loves you will always circle back. But what she's circling back to depends on what version of you she finds when she returns. If she comes back and sees desperation, resentment, insecurity, or emotional chaos, that confirms her fear that she's not safe giving you her heart. But if she comes back to a man who stayed steady, focused, disciplined, and emotionally controlled, her heart settles. She realizes your strength isn't conditional. She realizes your interest isn't fragile. She sees that your life didn't fall apart during her silence. And that makes her feel something she can't ignore: respect. Her return is always stronger when you didn't chase her disappearance. When she sees that you didn't collapse without her, her attraction deepens. When she notices you didn't force connection, she feels more comfortable reconnecting naturally. When she realizes that you didn't punish her for needing space, she feels more understood. And when she watches you continue improving during the distance, she feels more drawn toward you, because now she sees the man you are, not just the man she hoped you'd be. A woman who truly loves you doesn't pull away to leave. She pulls away to test the emotional climate. She wants to see if the connection is grounded enough to return to. She wants to know if your energy is steady enough to trust. She wants to feel that you can lead the relationship without needing constant reassurance. When she sees that you handled her silence like a man, with calmness, self-respect, and emotional balance, her guard starts to fall. She doesn't return out of guilt or obligation. She returns because she genuinely feels safer with you than without you. And her return is not weak. It's not subtle. It comes with more affection, more vulnerability, more investment. She becomes more expressive. She becomes more attentive. She becomes more emotionally available. Because now she knows you're solid. She knows you don't break under pressure. She knows her silence didn't scare you into insecurity. That's the moment she lets herself love deeper, because your strength gave her permission to. A woman who loves you always returns stronger when you stay strong during her silence.